Topping today's news, another incident on a private yacht resulting in death here in the Bahamas. The government appoints a new director of immigration. The Prime Minister addressing concerns over high electricity bills, and the Ministries of Health and Education team up to promote healthy lifestyles for our youth. This is your JCN Evening News. I'm Jarino Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us. A South African woman recovering after being stabbed several times by a colleague who has now been declared dead. Police said on Thursday on board a vessel in waters off San Salvador, a 28-year-old South African woman crew member was stabbed multiple times by another crew member, a 35-year-old South African man. The man fled the scene and jumped into the water. He was retrieved unresponsive and pronounced dead by onboard medical staff. The woman sustained stab wounds to her upper body and was treated and is listed in stable condition at this time. An autopsy is scheduled to assist in determining the exact cause of death of the man who jumped overboard. This latest incident comes after a 39-year-old Mexican man was charged with murder stemming from the stabbing death of a 20-year-old South African stewardess, Paige Bell, that occurred on July 3rd on board a super yacht in waters off Harbor Island, Eleuthera. The topic of immigration, both legal and illegal immigration, continues to be one of the most important issues for Bahamians and for politicians. Well, there has been a major shakeup as the government has appointed a new director of immigration. Stephen LaRota will replace William Pratt. Prime Minister Davis implored the new executives of the Immigration Department to build on the improvements that have already been made.
But we cannot stop now. We must continue to strengthen our enforcement. We must continue to tighten the systems. We must continue to build an immigration department that works. That's why the motions matter. We are hopefully building a department that enforces the law firmly, clearly, and consistently. He must lead with discipline. He must lead with integrity. And above all, he must lead with action. We have digitized because we cannot afford a system full of loopholes. We have cracked down on fraud because national security begins with knowing who is here. We have expanded manpower and strengthened investigations.
The new immigration director, Stephen LaRota, says he and his new team is ready to get the job done on behalf of the Bahamian people.
I commit to doing my very best to uphold the highest standards of the immigration department. We must be honest in our dealings with the public. As law enforcement officers, we are called to a higher standard. We must uphold the law. We must also be fair in our dealings with the members of the public. I believe that if we have one common and shared vision, working hand in hand in unity, we can continue to do extremely good work on behalf of the Bahamian people to keep our borders safe and to protect the sovereignty of our Bahama land.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister rejected claims by the official opposition that the country is facing an immigration crisis. He cited work done by his administration in repatriations, shantytown demolitions, and reduced numbers in the detention center at Carmichael. Today at Goldwyn on Cable Beach, Parliamentary Commissioner Harrison Thompson walked members of the media through the proposed new legislative and regulatory changes designed to strengthen the integrity, security, and efficiency of how elections are administered here in the Bahamas. He said over the past year, their goal was to identify areas where they can modernize operations, improve voter confidence, and respond to both local challenges and international recommendations.
One of the major updates we're proposing is the introduction of biometric voters' cards. These cards will include a photo, fingerprint, signature, and registration number, embedded securely with features to prevent tampering or duplication. They will be valid for 10 years and printed using durable, tamper-resistant materials. And let me emphasize, a biometric voter card is not required to vote. I will repeat that. A biometric voter's card will not be one of the requirements to vote. Every Bahamian eligible to vote will remain subject and entitled to vote, regardless of whether they have upgraded their cards or not.
According to Mr. Thompson, this process is designed to keep the register secure and accurate. Voters will be able to confirm and update their information and biometric details every 10 days, ensuring that the names of deceased are removed and their records are covered. Thompson says since 2017, they have removed around 58,000 deceased individuals from the voters' register.
Another reform is the introduction of e-poll books, a secure digital register that will be used at polling stations to verify voter identity in real time. These devices will be encrypted, accessible only by authorized officers, and will provide faster and more reliable confirmation of voter eligibility. In the event of technical failure, printed registers will be available. And if a biometric scan fails, visual verification by the presiding officer will still allow the person to vote. With new systems comes the need for stronger legal protections.
The next general election, that's set for late 2026. On Thursday, Prime Minister Philip Davis addressing concerns by home and business owners regarding high electricity bills. Some say they are seeing as much as a 25% increase in their monthly electric bills after the government promised lower rates.
I think we have to appreciate when they say their bills would have increased by 25%, what they're comparing it to. Because if they're comparing it to what happened at the earlier part of this year, then that would not be a fair comparison. Usually in the summer, electricity bills go up because of the heat and because of consumption. So if they compare their bill this summer with their bill from last summer, they will see that there has been, they're paying less this summer than they were paying last summer. And that is where the comparison ought to be. Consumption rises in the summer, and with the heat.
Mr. Davis explained that the bill itself may not have increased, but consumption has increased during the hot summer months. He invites BPL customers to compare your bills from the summer last year to your bills this summer, so you can gain more of an accurate calculation.
Consumption, and if consumers were to look at their consumption, what I would invite anyone who has a complaint about their consumption, there's a unit now that's been set up for PPL to have an assessment of your energy use, and they could take advantage of that through the Ministry of Energy to determine why their usage might be as high as it is. And we'll invite them to take note of that. But I think we are delivering on what we have. Of course, work is still continuing. The grid that requires replacement and remediation, that work is continuing. Once that is complete, you'll see more decreases.
The Prime Minister assured the public that the coming energy changes and initiatives should be completed by the end of this year or early next year, and should also help with the lowering of electricity bills. Finally, in this segment, the Atlantis Paradise Island Resort recently confirmed that its Coral Towers will temporarily close beginning August 17th. The closure will last approximately 8 weeks due to a significant drop in bookings. On Thursday, the Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper, shared his views on the decision by Atlantis.
I think what we have seen is Atlantis recalibrating and using an opportunity to do some renovations. This is not unlike many years before, and we anticipate that at the end of the day we'll have an even better product. We know that Atlantis has been a world's favorite for quite some time, but we also know that it started to show its age.
Mr. Cooper also spoke about the outlook for the Coral Towers for the latter months of the year. In addition to that, he also spoke about the outlook for the entire country as it relates to tourism.
So I'm personally happy to see that this is happening, and over the course of time, I think it will correct itself. The numbers ahead continue to look strong. Future bookings are recovering versus what we saw in the first quarter. We expect the second and the third quarter to be strong, and the fourth quarter to be as strong as last year or better. So the future continues to look cautiously optimistic, as I laid out in our budget presentation. Tourism is not without its challenges. We know the geopolitical issues continue to confront us, and we must continue to preserve all of the guests' experience that we can to ensure that they continue to come back and continue to allow our future bookings to continue to be preserved.
The temporary closure will displace several hundred workers. Hotel unions and the resort, they're working with the National Insurance Board to ensure that workers can obtain unemployment benefits or seek new employment. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back following these commercials.